Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Folks and Friends, a podcast by Folks Finance. Here, we invite the brightest builders, creators, and thought leaders to talk blockchain, tech, finance, and everything in between. I'm your host, Ibu Karel. Let's learn something together. Assets discussed on Folks and Friends may be held by participants of the podcast. This podcast is purely educational and not intended as advice. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Folks and Friends. Super glad to have you all here. My name is Ibu Karel, head of partnerships at Folks Finance. Our guest today is David Garcia, and we are waiting for him to rejoin the space and get him up here as a speaker. But for now, I'm here with my co-host, of course, Benedetto Biondi, CEO of Folks Finance. Ben, how are you doing today?
Hey, hello everyone. All good, all good. Today I am near Rome on the seaside because there is a conference and it's basically a university research conference. And with folks, we are presenting DeFi and tokenomics. Is very cool. I really enjoy it.
Hold on, what kind of tokenomics are you presenting?
Not our tokenomics, it's a general presentation on tokenomics, token dynamics, decentralized finance, how economic models of DEX and lending protocol works. It's more of an educative thing than actually showing off or shielding folks. It's more an overview on the ecosystem.
Well, I know a lot of people will be waiting for the Folks tokenomics, so, that's why I had to ask.
No, this is still very, very confidential, we are working on it still, not ready.
Not ready yet. So anyone who's asking when, folks, it's not ready yet. We have DG here. DG, David Garcia, CEO of Borderless Capital. How are you, DG? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Ivo, Ben, how are you doing, guys? Great to be here. Good morning, good evening for everyone. So, yeah, excited to be here.
Yeah, we've had you on the show before, and we've talked. We talked at the Blockchain Forum Italia. Excuse me. So I'm really excited for today's episode. We're gonna get into some questions. We've got some community questions as well. Before we get started, I want to ask everyone in the audience to copy the link at the top of the space, and if you could post it on your page, see if we can get some more people in here. This episode will also be on all platforms later this week. Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Amazon, etc. So if you want to listen to the full recording, you can get into that. But DG, let's just start off. Like, how are you? In general, besides your job, like, how's life? What have you been up to lately?
Yeah, life is going well. Everything is fine. So just very excited for the moment that we are living right now in Web3 and blockchain, and on the personal side, everything is great. So, from Borderless perspective, also we are coming with a lot of initiatives this year, and we are growing as an organization. So, super excited.
So I want to get into that, what you're doing right now, where you're going to go in the future. But I want to ask you some questions about how you started Borderless Capital. So how did you start Borderless Capital, or get in the position to start such an influential fund?
Yeah, so, I have been a crypto investor since 2015. Prior to Borderless Capital, I was running a different fund that was investing across the crypto ecosystem. I was able to meet Silvio Micali back in November 2017 as part of my network in MIT. He was starting Algorand at the time. It was still a white paper, but for me, it was so refreshing how he was looking to solve the constraints and challenges that we have in blockchain. But by that time, I already have seen it all. I have seen all the problems in Bitcoin and Ethereum, the frustration of people for using blockchain technology for mainstream use cases. And when Silvio came with this idea of solving the blockchain trilemma, I really felt very related with that narrative, and I decided from my prior fund to make a major investment into Algorand Series A, and that's how the relationship with Algorand started. On that same year, I met my partner Arul in Bahamas. We were both attending to a security tokens conference, and at that time, we believed that security tokens were supposed to be the next big thing in blockchain. And he also invested from his prior fund in Algorand, and we started to invest together in several other projects. And, after sharing the same views on Algorand and the Algorand ecosystem, instead of launching our next funds individually, we decided to partner together and start Borderless Capital with our Algo Fund 1, which is our first fund. We were able to start Borderless Capital in November 2018, and by May 2019, we did the first closing of the Algo Fund 1. And since there, we started to deploy capital in the Algorand ecosystem. We were able to raise capital from a great combination of both institutions and individuals, family offices, LPs and investors from our prior funds, and also some of the key people in Algorand. So that's how we started Borderless Capital back in November 2018, and we started to deploy capital in 2019.
Hey, but let me add a bit here, because obviously, as many knows, Borderless is the largest investor from the very beginning in Fox Finance, and I need to explicit how Borderless is the real supporter and the only VCs that really made this ecosystem something, right? Like they were believing from the very beginning. They were visionaries. They were investing in protocols. Even an example, at when we started Fox, there were people even saying that you cannot build a lending protocol on Algorand because there was not even a virtual machine. But Borderless believed in us and was pushing us, do it, go for it. And during the accelerator, we were able to demonstrate that actually this was possible. So we need to thank David and Arul for all the great work that they have done in the ecosystem, because I believe if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have such a great diversified ecosystem with many apps and so many different use cases.
Ben, just let me add that for us, it's an honor to be one of the early backers of Fox. I think that the trust is mutual, and we feel proud to be a key investor in Fox and also being one of your large customers. So I think that we both trust each other and build the success of what is now together. It's not just one side. It is because of you guys. You are the stars, not us. We just provided the resources, and you guys deliver.
We are here all together. We are a family now. The Algo fam is a thing all together.
Yeah, I remember the prior name of Fox Finance, so I'm glad that we now have a name that the community also likes from the very beginning.
Yeah, we can mention here, like when we did the accelerator, it was 2 years ago, even a bit earlier than 2 years ago. It was called Algorand, and I remember when you, David, I think it was you or Amit was telling, we feel we should rebrand with something that matches more your mission. And it was very interesting, because then I was like, okay, I need to think of something that it's very explicative of what we are doing here. And then I simply was walking with my ex-girlfriend in the street, and it was like, you know what, this is something that's going to be for the common people, because Algorand allows cheap transactions, so everyone can use it. At that time, Ethereum was very expensive. So I came up with the name Fox Finance, and just very quickly we researched if the domain was available. So there was fox.finance, we booked it, Borderless liked it, and we went to it.
Yeah.
It is a unique name, Fox Finance. I never heard one like it. to be honest. DG, you've done a lot of investing in the Algorand ecosystem across DeFi, NFT platforms, infrastructure. How would you assess the performance of all your Algorand investments, or the performance of Algo Fund One, in context a few years later, and where does that make you want to go and put your investments in the future?
So I think that one thing that we did right from an investment perspective in the Algo Fund One is we invested both in native Algorand projects and also projects that were common cross-chain infrastructure that it was needed also in the Algorand ecosystem, including custodians, node operators, decentralized infrastructure, and other services. So I think that, we have the right combination in the portfolio of both Algorand native projects like Fox Finance, PackFi, Rent Gallery, Tinyman, but also we have some other tools that are enabling the adoption of the technology and also reducing the friction for people to participate in this ecosystem. Things like Credo, Hextros, Blockdaemon, Pocket Network. So I think that the Fund One has been creating a lot of value for the Algorand ecosystem and for the fund itself. So, checking both boxes of making sure that we still operate as a private venture capital fund, but also we are building ecosystem value. So, and right now, we from all of that portfolio, we are also looking to help some of the most successful companies to continue to operate and grow. We also have an extension of the Fund One, which is the Algo Fund Two, that is smaller in size, but we are still continue to do some key investments in the ecosystem. We are planning to potentially collaborate with Fox also in their new fundraising round for that. But in general, I think that we have a great exposure to the Algorand ecosystem from the Algo Fund One, and with the Algo Fund Two, we're going to continue to support the key companies that both meet the criteria of the fund mandate from an ROI perspective, and also that are essential tools and core blocks of the Algorand ecosystem. And we are also going to continue to invest in companies that are common infrastructure to all the blockchains and are key to have in Algorand. So Algorand is not just an isolated ecosystem.
What are some of those criteria that you mentioned that when you're looking to invest in a project or a company that you look for?
Yeah, so I think that we want to have great founders, ideally, with some experience and as entrepreneurs. We want to have the right combination between projects and platforms that are solving problems from the real world, and also the innovation from what they can accomplish with the Algorand technology, and also that they can have a broader vision and not just thinking that they should focus on only Algorand users. We believe that the world should not have borders, and also blockchain should have not borders. So we think that projects that are starting Algorand and are serving Algorand users, but also from an Algorand native perspective, they can start expanding and attracting users from other blockchains and other ecosystems as well. And even, thinking on projects that are removing completely the friction of blockchain and making sure that blockchain is just a backstage tool for them to serve users. But the application itself and the business case is not adding friction because of blockchain. It's actually removing friction and attracting new users to Web3. Examples of that we have invested from the Algo Fund 2 and the Algo Fund 1 are cases like TravelX or Agro Token or others. And yeah, so that's basically what we're looking now.
I agree with David, and I think there is a point of reflecting here on what he mentioned also I guess this it reflects what you said, David, because from when you began, probably now that the situation is very different, right? So also it's not bull market, so the investment must be done more strategically. Is a different time, and I believe that those projects that were funded like folks during the previous bull run, now it is in our mission that we have accomplished some tasks to, let's say, to be in Algorand, to be active, to have users, to generate revenue, also to be able to expand this audience in a way that also the Algorand ecosystem benefits, right? Because it's where we began, and it has to be a mutual growth. And also, one of the things I would like to ask you, David, is like, because this is a point that I always reflect on it, right? Since you are an investor, and I believe that once there is the bull run, there is also from certain investors the mistake of kind of accelerating too much in investing in project without due diligence, and then things like FTX happen. And then everything goes down, and even the good projects are being impacted from these bearish times, right? So how do you consider from an investor perspective, and this might be helpful for other founders that are listening here, to invest right now compared to when there is a bull run? Like maybe for you it's the same due diligence, but I don't know, just give us a little bit of understanding on what is changing in comparing those two different times, when there was the bull run and everyone is investing, there are more monies, and when there is now the time for builders, right? And when you need to build something that is sound and actually bulletproof, not just sound.
Yeah, I think that, everyone gets caught in the hype and FOMO of the bull market, right? And I think that that's the case also for VCs and investors. I think that everyone was deploying a huge amount of capital during 2021 bull run, and there was practically very light due diligence and how the capital was allocated. Probably FTX is one of those cases, as you mentioned. It's incredible to see, very large institutional VCs investing in a company that was not compliant and was kind of mismanaging users' funds. So I think that, and coincidentally, right now during the bear market is the best time to invest because you can connect with the right people that are having the right mindset to build something that is useful and creates value, rather than just creating hype and marketing from the community. And also from a VC perspective, founders are more down to the earth, and you can have a more rational discussion about valuations and terms, and the opportunities that are right now in the table, are great use cases, and also I will say, like, at the right time with the right valuation and the right opportunities for VCs to come over. Of course, right now the risk is on, and everyone is taking a more conservative approach on deploying capital. But I think that is healthy for building the ecosystem and building the industry, as we have seen in the past. If you see the most resilient and best projects that are working in general in blockchain across the entire industry are projects that have been built in prior bear markets. And we think that this bear cycle that we feel like it's kind of shifting right now, the sentiment, we think that it will bring the same quality companies that we have seen in the past in prior bear cycles.
DJ, I want to ask you, we got a few weeks ago that the announcement that Silvio would be coming into more of a day-to-day role at Algorand Inc. What do you think about this announcement?
I think that in general, we believe that founders should be involved in the day-to-day of the operations of their company. There is not a stronger blood to push forward the company vision and mission that the founders. And I think that is great to have Silvio involved on the day-to-day. I think that he has a great team also that can take care of the execution of the small things. But if Silvio can be on top of where Algorand needs to be in the next 3 to 5 years, is going to be just positive for the ecosystem. So I'm glad that he's stepping in and deciding to focus a lot of time in the ecosystem.
Yeah, I do agree with that too, Ibu.
I think I lost you, DG. Maybe it's just my
No, I could hear
the connection, but I couldn't hear your answer there. So I'm not sure. Maybe I interrupted you. I apologize for that.
I could hear David. It was all clear, so probably it's just you, Ibu. And just to reconfirm, so David mentioned that it's good that a founder step up and show position and also being more active in its kind of own company, right? So I also feel that as my experience as founder and CEO of Folks, being active also from a side that maybe being in conferences, listening to what others are doing, represent your company, kind of also be proud of your company. It's in some way. It's reflects very well, and it is strengthening what you are doing. Because honestly, for me, it's kind of a duty being CEO of Folks, being the first phase of it. Then obviously for Silvio it's different. He's founder, not with an active administrative role, but anyway, just reflecting of what I do, and maybe can be of advice for other founders that sometimes they may think that just leading your app and your development can be enough, but nevertheless there are a lot of other things that a startup needs to do. And for example, I can mention that I don't see very often participation of other ecosystem founder in Algorand itself in many conferences we do. And for example, if I can't go, I'm sending you Ibu right now to Consensus. I'm going to another conference. I think this is very important also to get a feeling of what is happening, because there you can get more of inside their movements, and you can react faster to the market change. So I believe that's a really important thing.
Ibu, I think that we lost you. Are you there?
Yeah, I think we lost Ibu. Anyway, we can keep going, David.
I'm back. I'm back.
Yeah, you are here.
Yeah, no, sorry, my connection, something happened there. But I mean, going on that vein of Silvio coming back, I had a question here, which is, do you think the Algorand Foundation should become more involved or less involved in the ecosystem? Maybe, I guess, let's put a time frame on it, like during 2023 and 2024. What do you think about it? And then beyond 2024, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can answer that question in the proper way, but I will give my personal view. We have the playbook of Bitcoin and Ethereum and their respective foundations. I think that Bitcoin Foundation has little or almost no role on bootstrapping the Bitcoin ecosystem, but they have a key role on continue to managing on how the Bitcoin upgrading features and the core contributors to the Bitcoin core and Bitcoin protocol are delivering and continue to maintain and upgrade the technology. I think that in the case of the Ethereum Foundation, they played a little bit more active role, continue to develop the ecosystem and institutionalize the ecosystem. So, I think that a combination between both, it will be a great way to think in the Algorand Foundation in the future. I think that right now we are still an earlier ecosystem that both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and there is a lot of work to do. And I think that the Algorand Foundation can initially kick off some of those activities and making sure that over time that is going back to the community and to the main players in the ecosystem. But, I think that in the long term, also the Algorand Foundation will still have to play a role as the institutional glue that connects all the different parts of the ecosystem and also continue to develop and upgrade the protocol over time. So I think that right now there is a phased approach where the foundation should help to kick off and start some of the initiatives that are key for the ecosystem, and over time that should floats back to the community, and the foundation will play more an institutional role rather than a key igniter player like it's now. So that's my view in general.
So you'd like to see the foundation interact more on the institutional level and less in the community level?
No, I think that community is one of the initiatives that right now are being led by a lot of people, including the foundation, and the foundation should participate. But over time, those initiatives should flow more into the community leaders that emerge over time rather than being managed directly by the foundation. And I think that is going to be a natural transition that it will happen over time as new community leaders are emerging over time. But right now, I think that they are doing a great job. I don't have anything to complain about how the Algorand Foundation is engaging with the community, the initiatives that they are enabling, and how they are trying to bootstrap the adoption of the Algorand tech and bring more actors and players into this ecosystem.
Yeah, I agree with David. Also, the only regret that I have, I wish that this would have been done slightly earlier. Because if I think 1 year back, me and David was there together at Consensus, and there was like Algorand sponsoring, and there was barely few people from Algorand at the booths, like talking with community. I think it was also there, Rebo, I don't remember, but anyway, there was us like from community talking and supporting Algorand, and it's pretty sad. But now, indeed, they are very active, for example, on this front, and that's great. Anyway, better late than ever. So I hope that these moves are gonna pay out quickly, because obviously we all need it.
Yeah, and also, I think that organizations and institutions continue to evolve and mutate and change their dynamics. If I have to come back to 2014, 2015, and also seeing how both the Bitcoin Foundation and Ethereum Foundation were operating with a lot of drama, with the hard forks, with a lot of mistakes that they did, I think that we are in a much better track of what the early blockchain foundations of the two prominent cryptocurrencies did in the past, in their first 3 or 4 years of life. So I think that we are much better positioned to do a better job from a foundation perspective of what those foundations did in the past.
Just to touch upon it, Ibo, just a few minutes ago, the foundation tweeted that they provided liquidity into Folks, Algorand, and Pact, a total of 36 million algo. So it's just to confirm that things are changing. So you see, those movements were never done before. I think that's pretty degen. I'm honestly proud of being involved in this. I support the foundation. The foundation supported us in all of this. It's great. David, what do you think about that?
No, I think that is great. We have been in the same path since the beginning of DeFi. We started deploying liquidity on late 2021, and then on early 2022, and now we're in the different process, right? We try to build the trust from the community and making sure that people can follow our path and be able to participate in these markets. And by us being one of the larger participants and trusting the same applications that we invested and becoming a customer of those applications, we thought that will be a great validation for the ecosystem. And now we're in a different moment where we want to just start to reduce our participation in general in liquid governance and DeFi. So all the incentives that are coming from the foundation and from the protocols can be more allocated to the community and can be a more broader participation. So today or tomorrow, we're going to announce that. So we have participated in DeFi and in liquid governance. I think that in this quarter, we have deployed a little bit over 100 million algos in total between all the protocols, including Fox. So yeah, I think that the foundation is stepping in and doing the same will provide the same level of confidence that the community and the users are looking for in order to start participating in these markets.
And just to add on what you just said, David, I remember when during the first liquid governance we were chatting, and you were the truly OGs in deploying a lot of capital in DeFi, and that was a really big example for other VCs that later were following, and that was our strategy, right? Like, just let's demonstrate that this is needed, this is huge and helpful for the ecosystem. So even there, I think all of this came also from the very beginning, from Borderless, that you were the first mover on doing this.
Yeah, I'm glad that now there are others following those steps as well. So.
I'm just going to read the tweet that Benedetto referenced for anybody listening who hasn't seen it. Community update. The foundation has deployed 36 million algo to Algorand native lending markets, Options Vault, and Algo/G-Algo liquidity via Folks Finance, Algorand Finance, and PactFi. The goal of this allocation is to contribute to ecosystem liquidity, support TVL growth, and strengthen DApp's critical mass. Obviously, Ben, this supports leveraged commitment because when people use leveraged commitment, that borrows algo on their behalf using flash loans. So this is pretty big for people who want to use leverage commitment. And by the way, if anyone's still listening and hasn't committed to liquid governance, you have until tomorrow to do it. Just under 24 hours. You have 23 and a half hours as of this moment. Moving on, DG, what's the latest update with the Borderless DAO? I know that was a pretty big announcement you guys had. And just wondering if you're still working on it. What news can you share with us?
Yeah, so we are still working on it on the product perspective with the guys of Distributed Finance, which are, the company behind Zest and Run Gallery and NFX, and NFT Explorer, NFTX. From the product perspective, I think that we are doing a lot of progress, but also we are kind of looking on the sideline also how the regulatory framework is coming together to make sure that we can enable a broader participation and also we can do it in a compliant way. We as Borderless, we are a registered investment advisor and or in the process to become a registered investment advisor very soon, and we want to make sure that if we are bringing a product to the community, it's compliant, and we want to make sure that it falls within the law framework. So it's a meaningful lift over that we are doing with our legal counsel to make sure that we can still run a decentralized or pseudo-decentralized investment venture fund and also enable people to participate. So it's a huge discovery process for us, and I think that by Q3 or early Q4 we might be able to launch a beta version. It will be a little bit restricted, I think, that for participation for the broader public, but still to TBD. So while we are continue to work on the legal framework, we are taking that time also to make a lot of progress on the product and platform side. And that's the update that I can share for now.
Okay, so it's still working. Kind of led me into another question, which is what does the government, the U.S. government, need to understand about crypto and blockchain that they're not currently understanding?
I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not sure if I can give advice to the U.S. government. When I can say that,
Let me rephrase it then. What do you think is something in crypto that is difficult to understand that you think could be explained better, like to the general public?
yeah, I think that in general, one is regulators are looking for projects to become compliant with the U.S. law in the way that they operate, especially when we are talking about token-powered blockchain applications. But at the same time, and I'm not sure if there is a clear regulatory framework for those actors and operators. And it's, from what I'm hearing, it's almost impossible to fit into that law framework or legal framework. So it's kind of a chicken and egg problem right now. And I hope that it can be solved in the short term, because one of the last things that we want is just to have less competitive advantage from a U.S. digital assets perspective versus other international jurisdiction, and all the talent, capital, and opportunity can be shifted to other markets rather than staying here in U.S., which is one of the main innovation centers and also one of the hubs for capital and capital formation.
Yeah, I feel there is a lot of fear in the US, and by the way, the US is the place for startuppers, like Silicon Valley. It's the main hub, and if the US government is being so aggressive towards crypto, is just scaring funders, and that will create just a huge loss for them, because people are just gonna run away and in a more friendly and understandable jurisdiction, in my opinion. And also, I find it maybe it's a bit of I don't know, it's the complotistic view, but it's a bit of fear of a third world war, and the US is printing a lot of dollars, and I feel there might be a bit of risk from their side that crypto may take more power in that sense, because people may want to go and convert their dollar into Bitcoin as another alternative investment. And I don't think anyway that if that's their game, if playing it as a shark, it's not anyway being good for them. Indeed, there are other countries that accept it, so and they will take the benefit of innovation. And as we said before, that's a technology. We are building infrastructure for something that will bring a lot of utilities in the future. So I don't see really a reason to be so aggressive and not understandable. And actually, I was pretty shocked when I see someone was asking Gary Gensler if he ever bought Bitcoin. And he said no, but he's a lecturer over blockchain courses in university. So that's a bit of nonsense for me, but I think that's a big drama right now overall.
That is strange that he said that he's never used crypto and he's putting crypto regulations in place. There has to be more there. I don't know if what he said is 100% believable. But DG, what do you think about, what do you believe would be a good path for the US to adopt crypto? Because it seems like right now they're pushing it away heavily. I don't know if you saw this, but Brian Armstrong today was in the UK. That it seems like major companies are maybe hinting, or I'm sorry, maybe hinting or threatening that they might move out of the U.S. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that there is fear, but also at the same time, there is this need of keeping all these talent and organizations onshore. So, and there are both sides and the government trying to push their narrative. So, I don't know. I think that in the next couple of months, we're going to have more clarity where the US stands in general for crypto. I think that there is a lot of political pressure on making a stand, and a statement of where the U.S. government is in terms of crypto regulation. So I think that in the next months we will know if for sure this is a very hostile environment for crypto innovation, or this is gonna be an opportunity for all the people that were looking to have more clear rules how to operate and how to innovate from US to the world using Web3. So I think that right now is not clear, and in a couple of months we may have some more clarity, and we will know better the rules of the game. So everyone can decide what risks to take and from where to innovate and start participating in this industry. It will be really, really, really bad for the economy, for the country, for the entrepreneurs, or for the VCs, for the entire industry, that there is a hostile regulatory approach to crypto. So I'm hoping that that's not the case, and we can be smarter than that.
It's hard to see institutional investors or more VCs or liquidity providers coming into the crypto space without those regulatory, at least guidelines, or it seems like every investor is saying, wait, I need to, see what the rules end up being. So do you think that crypto might remain a bit slow in the US until we get those regulations?
Probably. But we are still seeing like large organizations to continue to enable access to crypto, like Fidelity recently opening Bitcoin purchases to all their clients. And other financial institutions also doing the same. The major global banks are also seeing a lot of requests for onboarding digital asset participants after Silvergate Bank and Signature Bank collapse. So there is a huge opportunity for them to start indirectly participating in this market. So I think that the interest is there, and there are some institutions that are leading the way in a very conservative fashion. And of course, with more clear regulation, there will be more people that are waiting for that to participate. But still, we are seeing some institutional adoption and interest, irrespectively of the not clear rules and not clear regulation environment that we have right now.
I want to ask you about one of your portfolio companies, TravelX. They are a portfolio company of yours, yes?
Yes, we are the lead investor in the prior round, and we are the lead investor in the current round. So yes, TravelX is a key portfolio company for Borderless, like Fox, and we are very proud. I think that when I was referring to the real world use cases approach that we like to see when we are deploying capital, there is no better example than TravelX. I think that they are doing a great job by enabling a new use case for an industry that is very legacy, like the airlines market, and creating a new operating system for air flight tickets distribution. So, and the example of having an airline in Argentina that it's fully tokenizing their tickets, and I know that there are several others that are in the pipeline that I cannot mention, that are very well-known airlines that are looking to follow the same steps than fly bonding. So yeah, pretty excited of what they are building and the progress and product market fit that they are showing with fly bonding and the opportunity that they have with other airlines and other markets. I think that they have a huge opportunity to completely disrupt a very legacy market by using blockchain and Web3 technology.
We've seen TravelX begin to mint some of those tickets on chain. Do you know when those will be able to be utilized, or are those like a test, or are they starting to roll out a marketplace? Because I haven't yet seen anyone be able to transact with the tokens, I guess, in the way that that I imagine people would be able to by, they buy a airline ticket and maybe they can list it for a secondary market. Maybe I'm wrong about the system there. How exactly will their system work with the tradability of these tickets?
Yeah. So, I think that the current NFT tickets that you are seeing are real airplane tickets, and that represents the entire tickets emission of fly bonding, which is the airline that is transporting 5 million passengers per year in Argentina and domestic flights in the South American region. If you go to iExplorer or to Scan or to any other explorer in the ecosystem, you will see that there is 90 tickets or 95 tickets issued by TravelX as NFTs, which are real NFTs, live NFTs in the Algorand mainnet blockchain, and then one JPEG or one art focus NFT. I don't think that these NFTs are gonna be operating in permissionless and decentralized marketplaces. I know that TravelX has its own marketplace, and also Flybond is integrating that in their own app because they want to have full control of the user experience. I know that in the case of TravelX, I think they have travel exchange XYZ, if I remember correctly, where you can basically resell your ticket, auction your ticket. You can transfer the ticket directly from the Flybondi app. So the integration is not on the front end, it's on the back end. And I think that the airlines want to control the entire user experience. So that's on their side. But I don't expect that an NFT ticket can be used as a collateral in Fox Finance going out to borrow more money to go and buy more tickets and compound that. I don't think that...
but that is something you don't know. Ibo, do you want to update David on what we are doing? I haven't had the time in the last month.
Oh, wow.
To update him. Yeah.
Maybe you have some information that I don't have. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, basically, we are working on a draft measure to propose in XGov because it's something that requires quite a bit of development. It would be kind of a side protocol, which would anyway leverage the liquidity of folks that could allow NFTs, even from Lofty, for example, Lofty assets, which are into a permissioned market, to have exposure to the liquidity of folks, so to leverage the liquidity of folks. So we are working on the design that will be posted on the forum of the Algorand Foundation, and then we will require grants from the XGov to build it. But these will be at the benefits of the ecosystem. It will be obviously a huge use case for folks, but it will be very beneficial for every project that could use it, for example.
Yeah, and I think that's great also for Agro Token, right? And travel, like how you can use real assets to collateralize. So for example, if I am just paying for my ticket right now because I'm gonna go for my Christmas vacation, but I need money next month to pay for my rent. I can use my ticket as a collateral and have a more efficient way to use credit and the ticket as an asset class for borrowing money than if I have to go and get more debt from my credit card that I just use for paying for the ticket, right? So I think that can enable a lot of mainstream use cases. So great job, Ben. So
Thank you. It's going to be also very helpful for standard NFT marketplace, for NFTs also. So we will need to work out the details for each particular project, but the infrastructure that we want to build has to be, let's say, pluggable into every single project.
awesome. Great. So I'm up on a minute, Ivo. I know that you have a lot of questions. Maybe I can come in a different time for the next ones, but if we can wrap up in 8 minutes, I would appreciate it. I have a hard stop at 1 p.m. So
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'm gonna ask like 1 or 2 community questions, and we'll be done by 1 o'clock for sure. A few minutes before. First one is from Oyster Pack. Is Borderless Cap participating in the XGov program?
no, we are not at this time. We prefer that, the community can become at the forefront of the XGov program, and we just want to support the community, and we don't think that it would be appropriate for us being a larger participant to be part of the XGov. So, and again, I think that also on the governance side, we are reducing our participation as well. So, we will defer to the community on how they want to continue to run proposals and propose how to allocate some of the resources that are coming out of this new program. So, yeah, we are not participating in the XGov.
And
neither personally I am as a participant in DeFi.
Also, I can add that I spoke with other large VCs in Algorand, and they kind of share the same interest that David said, to also to leave more exposure to the community. So that's good, and thanks for doing that.
The next question, last one, maybe last 2. Do you personally run a node to participate in Algorand consensus with your private stake? That's from Shaper of Entropy.
Yeah, no, I don't. I basically have most of my algos participating in liquid governance through personally in Fox Finance. So, that's in G algo, and I understand that those algos are participating in consensus through Fox. So, kind of indirectly participating in consensus with my personal stake, but I'm doing it through Fox Finance, not by running a node by myself.
All right. That's it, really. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we go?
No, I think that we are excited of how things are shaping up in the Algorand ecosystem. My partner Ul has been spending a lot of time with the builders. I know that some of them were frustrated in general with how things were moving in the ecosystem, and I think that Borderless as a key participant and as a key investor in all of them or several of them, I think that we are trying to help to overcome those challenges and those frustrations. And we are having a very positive response from the community of builders, and looking forward to continue to deploy capital in the ecosystem. There might be some announcements in the couple next weeks for some key investments that we are doing. We are negotiating at this time, and there are more coming into the pipeline. So excited to share that with the community and with you guys as soon as it's done.
All right, everyone, keep an eye on DG's Twitter, Borderless Capital's Twitter, Rule's Twitter. Obviously, follow Folks Finance, Benedetto, and you can follow myself if you want to as well. DG, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, guys. Happy to be part of the next one. Thank you, Ben. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David, for being here, and also for everything that you and Rule and the Borderless team does for the ecosystem. That's huge. Thank you so much.
The sentiment is mutual. Thank you, Ben.
All right, everyone. See you on the next episode of Folks and Friends. Until next time. Bye.